Hello again. Today I'm going to be sharing my new trove of items for my Etsy shop. They are all books today. But as you can see, I have quite a pile here, but first I'm going to share the goodies. This lovely autograph album is absolutely one of the prettiest things that I have seen in a long time. It is dark blue velvet, and as you can see, the gilding, and it is deeply embossed. The embossed gilding on this cover is in magnificent shape, and in magnificent shape because this book has some signatures in it dated from the 1873. You'll notice the back cover is velvet embossed, and look at the wonderful condition. A piece of Scotch tape touched to this will get out a little bit of the life dust on it, but it is just lovely. And on closer inspection, you'll notice that all of the edges of all of the pages are gilded also. When I saw this in one of my mall dives, I just thought, when I looked at it, well, I'm certainly not going to be able to afford this one. But someone, thank heavens, either didn't know or didn't care. And that makes anyone's heart flutter. The only bit that is not correct or not perfect in this book is this original paper from the front cover and the liner paper. And if you'll notice, they look very much like moire silk when you catch them in the light. There, I think you can see that. So, it's here, it's still here, which I think is just wonderful. And then we begin. These are in, a lot of these are in languages that I am not able to read. I think some of them are French, but most of them are in, I believe, in German. And as you will see, 19th April, 1873. Let me go on and find some more and look at the handwriting on some of these pages. Isn't it absolutely stunning? People did take time with their handwriting. And as was the habit, as I remember still in my day, when you had an autograph book, you just picked a page and you didn't have to pick them one after the other. You picked them at random, and it was done here in this book also. Let me find some more of them. Back is kind of empty. All of that wonderful antique paper. Here, another one, and another, and another. Someone took the time to put very, very light lines so that the handwriting would be beautiful, although I think it was already beautiful. This, I believe, might be Italian. Dated again. And as you can see, the back inside papers are very much cleaner because, of course, they're in the back of the book. the moire is more visible here because it hasn't been time worn, but then it has been around since at least 1873. And included in this is this beautiful embossed envelope. And as you can tell, let me get close so that you can see this envelope. It is really beautiful. Isn't that something? And here, there must have been wax on this at one point because there was just a tiny, tiny bit of red wax left. And this enclosure, and note this enclosure, I don't know what relationship it has to this book, but it was in the book, in one of those empty pages in the back, labeled, dated, 27th of July, 1862. So, I know that antique ephemera collector would be happy to have this, and so would many of you who like to use old paper, because it's a trove of very old paper here. Let me be very careful returning this to the envelope. There it is. So, that will be coming to my Etsy shop in the very, very near future. Second thing that I found just this week was a libretto for DeRozan Cavalier from the Metropolitan Opera House. And it is copyrighted 1911 and 1912. Beautiful old print. On the left-hand side is the German, and on the right, the English translation. And I do believe that all of the papers are here. This can certainly be added to your collection for future use, or to add to a collection of music ephemera. This one, well, this is Miss Edwina Burnell's penmanship, manuscript 1 practice workbook. And the reason this kind of jumped out at me was because I remember using one of these in first grade. And I looked very carefully back here, American Book Company, and this one says that it's copyrighted in 1961, but the earliest one is when it would have been mine in 1947. And this book was unused, and that is such a pleasure to find. But, oh my goodness, I remember doing mine. I absolutely did a little shaking when it came to making these letters look exactly like the green ones on the page. But oh, such great fun. This, for those of you who are interested in calligraphy or brush lettering, etc., this will be a boon to your practice for manuscript handwriting. So, Croak and Brentano's, and that company was the one who obviously bought the other one out because Brentano's was the name that I would remember, and $1.10. That was an expensive piece of doings in those days. So these are my 3 finds that really are special and really tickled me. Those will be coming to my shop ASAP also. The other day, I found this book And the reason this one caught my eye is because of the quality of the faux leather binding, the complete Live and Learn and Pass It On book. It has some gold inlay, some embossing. You'll notice that the binding has all of this special bars between the sections. The condition of the book is just lovely. And look at those end papers. Aren't they just something? And here too. And let's see what exactly this book, The Complete Live and Learn and Pass It On, copyright 1991 through 1998, and this is volume 1. I've learned that life is like a scooter car. Not much happens unless you do some pedaling. And so forth throughout the book. So, won't this book lend itself to some altering, to some use as collage papers? And then when I noticed, I thought to myself, well, wouldn't this book just be lovely to keep the outer cover of this book, to remove the block and keep these beautiful end papers, and maybe make your own signatures and do an invisible binding. So I do hope that you might possibly consider this for your future art. This area, if you didn't like it, this area is certainly easy enough to cover, and this section could be covered, and you could make it your own in so many ways. So, that one coming soon. Here is an art book that I thought about, and I said, no, I'm definitely going to consider bringing this one home. This is a Mexican artist and his modern art pieces. And look at the size of these beautiful plates. And if nothing, you might want to use them, some of these, for collage, because they certainly lend themselves to beautiful, oh my, isn't that lovely, to beautiful pieces. It is in fine condition. It is a well-made book. It's tied binding. And it was published in 2001. So, I don't know how you might choose to use this book, but it certainly lends itself to many possibilities, either altered book, collage fodder, journaling, etc. Put that heavy one over here. Here is a pair of books that are color themed. I'm going to put the two of them together and sell them as one. These even have the seeds for the flowers that are shown in these books. And here, as you know, it lends itself so tremendously to reverse collage, to altering. Oh my, look at that page. Isn't it lovely? So this is, you can see why I picked this one. But I just knew that someone might enjoy having this. And here, let's have a quick look at the yellow book. And here it is, still attached, seed packet. And these books were first published in 1995. And Here are our yellows. Oh my, isn't that a lovely page? Doesn't that just cry out for, oh my, wouldn't that be lovely with some reverse collage, or just to use these beautiful individual flowers for your own personal collage, and they're small enough that they could even be used on ATCs. So, this pair will be, I'm offering these as one. I found this quite recently. It's a Reader's Digest sketching school book, and it is, when you glance through it at the sketching, some of the ideas and the suggestions and the ideas for a free start and getting started and the materials you might use, pencils, etc. It's just chocked full of lovely, lovely ideas, things that would be beautiful for your collage, for your practice in an art or sketching journal. It just goes on, and it is truly, truly a lovely, lovely book. I could not, absolutely could not resist this one. And now, two that I was lucky to find, and I've been kind of tucking them away for myself, and then I decided that it was time for them to move on to their next person. Handcrafted journals, albums, scrapbooks, and more. And look at the lovely, lovely, lovely how-tos of construction, of there's some basic procedure and etc. But I've picked two that were the reason that I brought the book home from the mall. Wandering Books was one of them. Just lovely, a lovely concept. Triangle accordion books. These are so tempting. Corrugated paper and so forth and so on, one after another. How to make them, what to use. This book, tea collection book, and literally bags of tea. But sticky pad notebooks. It goes on and on. It is a gem of a book. This one, well, this one, miniature scrapbooks, small treasures to make in a day. I picked this book because of this one, and isn't this absolutely delightful? This is a Star Power book, and let's see, I believe there's some more. There's another one here that was absolutely, this is dimensional wedding scrapbook, but dimensional for any of us who would like to have them. This is the way it looks in the end, but look, there's a third dimension on these pages that folds up as the book closes. And so very many ideas to pique our interest and get our mind started and just get ready for fun. Art is an expression of life. Oh yes. A flower accordion book. That has to be just something that could only be called a showstopper. Let's look at that one close up. And the directions for the folding. So, these and this one and this pair and this one and oops, this heavy one, this one. Where will this one go? I think underneath over here. And these antique lovelies. And of course, this one will be coming to my shop very soon. And I hope you have enjoyed this little preview. And if you have, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share with a friend, and I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. Bye now.